Alright, what's going on guys? It's GCP here, and now that we know that the overhaul is not going to happen, meaning we're not going to get Dead Silence as a perk, we're not going to get the red dots to show up on the minimap, we're not going to get a drastic drop in footstep audio, we have, I say, 3 options in this game. Number 1, we could continue to complain about this game, tweet at the developers, or keep asking them to change the core aspect of the game to have a better experience, but we all know that that falls on deaf ears. And lately, a YouTuber named Swag went over to try out the new DLC, and it fell on deaf ears because he asked them to change some of the things, or asked them why some things are the way they are, and it just seemed that the developers wanted this game to be a certain way and they weren't going to budge in that, and that's just the way it's going to be. Number 2, we can adapt, and I hate that word, I hate to use that word, but it is honestly really true. We can just learn to adapt by certain things that we do, change our playstyle, behavior, all that stuff, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail as this video goes on. But let me talk about option number 3, which is just move on and get over this game and just go back actually to another game, another Call of Duty game that will actually favor run and gun type of players who actually are encouraged to move, where you could run from one area of the map to the other and back again, go into enemy spawns and totally wreck them there, and not have to worry about people hiding in corners, not have to worry about people sound whoring, ADSing, mounting, all that fun stuff that we have in Modern Campfire. All those options we have. Now let me talk about option number 2 in greater detail. Adapting. Now, I know this term is pretty famous in the community because adapting in our term, or in my term, the way that I see adapting in the negative light is adapting to the playstyle that these developers honestly wanted for the noobs, people who hide in safe spaces, the way that they intended for this game to be, which is camping, which is strategical non-movement, as Thunder likes to say, which is mounted up, ADSing, waiting for people to come by and just sound whoring. If that's the way that you want to adapt, especially if you want to troll, even if you're not wanting to do the whole running and gunning, or it's just not working and people are playing in a fashion where they're just super passive and you want to be super passive back, you're absolutely able to do that. That's the negative adapting that I see in this game, and honestly it is really frustrating where sometimes you're just like, screw it, if people want to do that, then I'm going to do it right back, and you just feel very toxic in that environment, but at the same time it's what's expected, right? But you have a second option, which I don't really talk about too much because I get frustrated while playing this game at times, but there are times where I do have fun in this game. I will say there are certain factors of this game where you do have brief moments of fun where everything is flowing, everything is going in your direction, especially, and this is for any Call of Duty, when you're running and gunning and you're able to get your streaks, you're able to get that specialist bonus, you know, the lobby is actually moving, all of your shots are lining up, you're able to dominate that lobby. One of the options that you have in adapting in a positive light is learning to play this game where you're pacing yourself, meaning you're not constantly running and gunning like in previous Call of Duty games. In the case of Modern Warfare, how you rush in this game, how you play aggressive in this game is actually pacing yourself. And what do I mean by pacing yourself? I know that Dead Silence is an absolute must in this game if you want to get anywhere undetected. So when you have Dead Silence on and you're waiting in that brief moment for it to recharge, maybe slow down your game. Play a little more passive. Play a little more conservative where you're holding down a spot. Maybe you can just patrol. Maybe hold down an area. You don't have to necessarily be camping. You don't have to necessarily be hiding out in one spot the whole time or in a dark corner, but you can patrol. You can hold down an area and play a little more passive, where you're not going out there in the open where people have that opportunity to pick you off because they're aiming down sights, or they're expecting you to come in a spot or in a building or wherever, or in that area where they're gonna sound horde you. At that given time, you could wait for dead silence to pop up, and then when dead silence actually does pop up, you can actually push because you will not be heard. Of course, this is not going to work 100% of the time, and I'm not going to sit here tell you that every single time you get dead silence you're going to be able to push and play aggressive, because that's just not the case. It gives you a higher possibility or probability of being able to push, and when it does work, man, does it feel amazing. Man, does it feel good. Man, does it give you that fun factor that Call of Duty has always had in being an arcade shooter. When you're able to have that, ability to push with dead silence, and when you keep killing people, obviously it's going to extend the time. So you're able to run and gun in that sense. Another way you can adapt in a positive way is knowing the types of weapons that you have and what advantages they give you for the certain map or lobby that you're playing against. For example, if you're playing on a bigger map where you know the line of sights are going to be larger, your gunfights are going to be across the map or at a distance, then maybe try putting on an assault rifle instead of an SMG. Now, of course, an SMG can work in certain situations, and I'm not saying an SMG will 100% not work on a large map, because they definitely can, but you're gonna have an advantage more so with an assault rifle than you would an SMG on a larger map. Now, the same could be true for the small map. If you're playing on a small map, then use an SMG. Use a close quarter weapon like a shotgun. Now, it's not to say, again, that the assault rifle will not work on a small map. It all depends on the types of attachments that you have on that assault rifle, where you can make it a run and gun close quarters type of weapon. And all of those things are key and vital when you're playing this game. Knowing what types of attachments work with what weapons, and also the lobby. Are these people just sitting in their spawns camping? Are there multiple snipers? Maybe you want to put on a sight instead of having it iron, where it will give you more stability or bigger zoom. You know what I mean? Some of these things are key and vital to know in a match in order to positively adapt in this game. And all of those things are things that if you choose to stay playing Modern Warfare, if you're like, okay, this Modern Warfare overhaul is just not going to happen, the big update that we wanted is not coming through. If you're willing to accept all of that, then I guess it's time to be able to adapt in the positive way. Or if you are feeling toxic, then absolutely play the toxic role. If you want to adapt in the negative light, then do that. That's totally up to you. Nobody's holding a gun to our heads forcing us to play this game. So those are the three options that I have, and I hope you guys got something out of it. And also let me know which of these three options you're going to do. With that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys on the next one. With that being said, this is GCP signing off.